with AI? Is it just hype, or is it really changing how businesses operate? To help us make sense of it, I'm joined by someone who's been deep in the trenches, our resident tech expert, Monir. Monir, welcome. Before we jump in, can you tell our listeners a little bit about your background and how you got into the world of AI and automation?
Thanks, Tucker. It's great to be here. So I've been in the tech business for almost 23 years. I've started with classic development and ended up with AI and machine learning. It's great to be here. So this is a topic that I'm really passionate about because when AI can be a game changer, a lot of people are still trying to run before they can walk. So today we'll talk about where AI automation actually works and where it doesn't.
All right, Monir, let's get into the good stuff. What's actually working today when it comes to AI automation and building processes? There's so much hype out there. Let's start grounding this in reality.
Totally. So there's a lot of noise out there, but also some really practical, high impact use cases. So let me break it down by function. I, those are the areas that I've seen AI deliver really repeatable and really high value. Let's start with customer support. So one of the biggest wins is using AI chatbots in customer support, not to replace your human agent entirely, but to handle the first level of interaction. So you've got tools like Intercom or Zendesk using AI to respond to common questions, things like, where's my order? How do I reset my password?
So you're saying that AI handles the routine stuff and passes the complex stuff off to a human?
Exactly. And what's great is that modern bots also detect frustration or dead ends and escalate automatically to the human being. So customers don't feel like they're stuck yelling at a wall.
That sounds
And
awesome.
yeah, another powerful area is sales and CRM automation. Think of AI tools that prioritize your leads based on engagement, likelihood to convert, and past behavior. Like you have some CRMs even generating personalized email drafts for follow ups based on what the lead has done. Like if they visited a pricing page, attended a webinar, bought a previous product or not.
So for someone like me with a sales background, that sounds like a dream. I just show up and close?
Yeah, pretty much. So it doesn't replace relationship building, but it makes sure that you're spending your time on the right relationships.
Okay.
So next we have finance and AP. So there, I've seen teams save hundreds of hours by automating invoice processing, for example, where AI reads incoming invoices, even the scanned papers ones, pulls out vendor names, totals, dates, and then matches that against purchase orders. So if everything checks out, the system can then send an invoice for approval or even push it straight to your ARP system.
I've got a lot of friends that actually work in finance. So you're talking about no more manual data entry for them for their finance teams?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. So just clean workflows and clear audit trails is so. And by the way, this is not just for big companies. You have even mid-sized companies using platforms that does this exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. Next, we have marketing. So in marketing, I think AI is crushing it with things like content generation, performance prediction, and even running micro experiments on ads. So you've got tools like that can write ads, that can write headlines, create social posts, and then AI helps you test those different versions of those automatically.
Yeah, I think we've all used AI to try and help us generate marketing content. But what you're saying is you can actually use it for the micro experiments and try 10 things and only just use the top performing ones?
Yep, yep. And it's faster than ever. But tools like Jasper and Writer right now are great examples. You combine them with an A B testing platform, and you're running smarter campaigns super fast.
Wow.
Yep. And lastly, well, you have a sector like IT and DevOps. Automations there. We're using AI right now to monitor systems, detect anomalies, and even trigger automated rollbacks or alerts when something breaks.
So the AI has like a sixth sense, you're saying?
Exactly. So we have platforms like Datadog or Dynatrace. Now they include AI-driven observability capabilities. So instead of sifting through thousands of logs, AI flags the logs that matters so your team can act faster and more effectively.
Yeah, I know that speed in that sector is huge. If there's an error, you don't want it to propagate. So that sounds fantastic. I mean, that sounds like an awesome lineup. So to recap, you're saying AI is basically crushing in customer support, sales prioritization, invoice handling, market testing, and then basically even keeping servers happy.
Yep, that's the common theme. And you can see that these are all repetitive, high volume tasks where humans don't add a ton of value, but where small errors can add up. So AI shines when it's applied with a clear business goal and proper monitoring. It's not magic, but when you use it right, it really delivers.
I love it. I mean, practical, real world value. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Of course, though, like not every automation dream pans out, does it? What are some areas where businesses try and use AI and it just doesn't stick?
Ooh, that's yeah, a rough area to dig in, but I can tell you for sure, uh, end-to-end workflows where there's no human oversight. Like AI can get it 80% of the time right, but that last 20% of the time needs people, especially when it comes to edge cases. And the second thing is when you're over automating stuff, especially in creative or strategic work, like writing a tagline, maybe crafting a full campaign strategy. That's still a human job. I mean, you need a human being overseeing what the AI is doing and working with the AI to create the perfect strategy. The other thing is plug and play myths. So I think a lot of people are still thinking buying an AI tool is just like flipping a switch. Okay, but it's far away from that. Like I think good automations needs clean data. You need to have your context right, and then you need to have an integration team to put it in to the work.
So it's not just like set it and forget it. There's still a lot of assembly required.
Yep, there is.
So, Monir, you've worked with a lot of companies on this. Can you share real examples where AI automation has made a measurable impact?
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, we've worked a lot of companies with a lot of companies on AI automation and implementing machine learning in their processes. I think one of the greatest examples, and a recent one, is actually from a mid-sized manufacturing company that we work with in Sweden. So they recently moved their entire AP, account payable process, to an automated platform that we also work with. So, like many growing companies, they were drowning in manual invoice handling. So, every month they would have thousands of invoices received, some of which mailed, some others were just scans from paper, others uploaded from suppliers' platforms. Each invoice had to be reviewed, checked against a purchase order, and then approved through a specific order by a department head, and then entered into their accounting system. So in this case study, you would see, I think the main pain points were you have a lot of late payments due to the backlog, a huge backlog that you have with those invoices. Second thing was there were a lot of errors in manual data entry. And third, that was the lack of visibility into invoice status. So you have thousands of invoices and you don't have a dashboard where you can say, oh, 50% of my invoices have been approved, 50% haven't. So they decided to automate. We have adopted this platform. We have a platform that we worked with before, which combined AI-powered invoice data capture with automated workflows. So here's how it worked. First of all, you had invoices routed directly into the system, no matter the format or the source. Like you had, this system had its own email address, so it can receive invoices emailed from vendors directly. You can scan and upload any type of invoice into it, PDFs, images, whatever. Uh, Even the ones that were handwritten invoices. Or you could give an access to your vendors or customers to upload their own invoices into that system. Then comes AI. So AI automatically extracts all the key fields. So we have a machine learning model trained to extract vendor data, invoice amount, due date, purchase order number, and line items. Like even handling messy PDF scans was was done in this system. It then matches the invoice to existing purchase orders this company's ERP system. If everything checks out, it would automatically route the invoice to the correct approver. So it would just push it to someone who needs to approve it based on the workflow that it came into. If not, if there was anything missing, if there was an issue with extracting data, it would just flag it out and send it to a human being for review. And finally, once an invoice is approved, the system just pushes the invoice directly into the financial system of that company, their accounting system. So it makes paying those and collecting payments for those invoices really simple. What I can say, as far as I remember, like in 3 months of switching to this automated AI system, this company, they had, I think, more than 80% of their invoices were fully automated, so no human touch needed or whatsoever. They reduced their AP processing time by over 60%, which actually allowed their customers to focus more on more humane processes. Third thing, what their errors and payment delays dropped significantly. I don't have a specific percentage for that, but they were so happy about it, and that was all in the first 90 days of application. And finally, their finance team shifted from data entry mode to value-added work, like analyzing their trends and vendor management. So what I love here is how they didn't try to revolutionize everything at once. They just focused on one high friction process where they had a lot of pain, and they let the AI and automation handle that repeatable part of it. And the results spoke for themselves.
I mean, such a smart use of automation. It's not sexy on the surface, but you're saving hours of repetitive work, and I guess you're also freeing up the team to think strategically, and that's real value.
Yeah, I
I mean,
agree.
it's an impressive case study. All right, so Monir, we've talked about what works and what doesn't. Let's say someone's listening and thinking to themselves, "That sounds great, but where do I even start?" What's your playbook for approaching AI automation?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. So I usually tell people to follow a five-step approach, especially if they want results without the overwhelm. But before I get to that, I think there's an important question that every team should ask up front, which is, how do you know when a task is good candidate for automation? I think this is a really important question, but at the same time, it's a simple one. So if you have a task that is repetitive, rules-based, you do it in high volume, and it doesn't require creativity or empathy, that's a great candidate for automation, especially AI automation. You can think, as just we mentioned, invoice approvals, lead qualification, scheduling, or even form processing. If you're doing the same steps every day with the same inputs and outputs, it's probably ripe for automation.
So you're saying it's not just anything shiny and trendy. It actually it really has to fit the automation profile.
Yeah, exactly. Like I always say, don't automate chaos. Optimize first, then automate.
Okay. And what do you think the biggest mind shift is that leaders need to make when using AI effectively?
So I think uh, AI is not about replacing people. I think that's the biggest mindset shift that leaders need to make. So it's not about replacing your employees. It's about amplifying them. So you need to go from what jobs can I cut with AI to how do I free up my people to focus on what matters, what humans do best. So it's not about AI versus humans, it's AI with humans. It's augmentation over automation.
That's powerful, Manir. I appreciate that. And too often, I think AI is seen as a cost-cutting tool, when in reality, we can actually use it just to unlock creative capacity. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, circling back to my question from earlier. Playbook, what's the playbook for approaching AI automation?
Yeah, I think I almost forget about that. So yeah, I think the five steps playbook that I would recommend every company and every business owner go through is, first of all, you need to start small. So take one process, one metric at a time. pick one that really have a huge pain point. Don't aim to transform your whole company overnight because you would fail. Second thing is document the manual process first. Like as we've said before, you need to look for the processes that are actually good to be automated. Eh, If you can write down, sorry, if you can't write down actually the steps a human being takes to do that process, then that process is not ready to be automated, even with AI. Third thing I think is using the right tool. And we can help you out with that. There are a lot of consultants, a lot of experts in the field that can really help you. But what I would recommend is you go for the low friction platforms first, and then you can go for tailor-made solutions. Like if the market doesn't have a tool to automate what you're trying to do, there's always development houses that can help you out with that. The fourth thing is build with humans in the loop. I think, again, I would like to reiterate that you can't let AI handle the whole thing. Okay, you need to keep people in charge for approvals, for judgment, for strategy setting. AI is not in the level that can take those decisions without a huge margin of error. And finally, always monitor. So here we're talking about automation. We're not talking about autopilot. You cannot just automate stuff and let the AI does it work without any monitoring. So you need to think, what does it mean for me to success in automation? And you need to review your goals and your performance regularly and then refine your processes.
Frankly, I love that. I mean, it's structured, it's totally approachable. It makes AI feel less like rocket science and more like just smart problem solving.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about, I think it's not about being first to implement AI. It's about being effective in implementing it. And if you get those first few wins, momentum will build up fast and you would see yourself automating more and more processes.
Yeah, I think I'm also excited for the development over time as how AI shifts. There's been, quite a lot of shifts already, and I expect more to come. But this has been gold, Monir. For everyone listening, if you're starting to use AI to and looking to automate something in your business, or even just thinking about it, reach out to us. We'd love to feature your story or answer your questions in a future episode. Monir, thanks again. Where can people contact you if they want to explore AI workflows further?
Well, absolutely. You can feel free to send me a message first on LinkedIn, or you can email Penta Creative directly for any questions about how you can automate your processes.
All right. Well, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share this with someone who's ready to stop chasing shiny objects and start building smart systems. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, Tucker.